Joining us now on the Straight Talk Express, our good friend, former governor of Virginia, Jim Gilmore, former Republican presidential candidate for president, now the head guru of the Republican Party of Virginia, the RPV's new organization called Team Virginia 2016. Here's what they're trying to do. Win Virginia for the Republican candidate for president in 2016. Why? Well, it's simple math. All roads to the White House for a Republican in 2016 lead right smack through Virginia. If the Republican candidate, whether it be Trump or someone else, and I believe it's going to be Trump, cannot win Virginia, the pathway to victory to get to the White House in the Electoral College narrows dramatically. Then Republicans have to start winning states like Wisconsin, New Hampshire, Iowa. Gets very tough. Got to win Virginia. Also, Virginia has gone Democrat now 6 or 7 times. 6 of 7 or 7 or 8. Another big win for the Democrats in Virginia, and the state turns blue. It's as simple as that. You got to win a statewide election to even stay purple. Joining us now to talk about his vision for doing that, former governor of the Commonwealth, just fresh off the campaign for president trail, Jim Gilmore. Hey, Governor, great to have you.
Hey, thank you very much, John. Thanks for the chance to talk to your listeners.
Okay, so you were just on MSNBC Squawk Box, so you're making the national rounds. Thanks for being on our show, where we've got a national audience now, thanks to our campaign coverage. Tell us why you took this job, because from the outside, Governor, we all remember the victory centers in 2012, the Republican Mitt Romney victory centers where they knocked on doors and made phone calls, and it just never materialized into anything. Obama winning the state handily, Tim Kaine winning it handily. Why is Team Virginia 2016 going to be different?
Well, first of all, I've been asked to do it by the state chairman of the Republican Party, John Whitbeck. So I don't want you to think I'm just dreaming this up. The party came to me and asked me if I would chair the campaign.
Good call.
I still expect the state chairman to be the deciding manager of the whole program. But it is, after all, a combination partnership between the Republican Party of Virginia and the National Party in order to try to carry the state of Virginia. And, John, you're exactly right. If you don't carry Virginia, it's very, very hard for a Republican to win the presidency. And we don't have a track record of carrying Virginia. Virginia's been going for the Democrat now in several consecutive elections, so we have to turn that around. And the way to do it is to, first of all, they intend to hire about 144 paid people across the state of Virginia so that we can actually do the blocking and tackling and get out and talk to the voters and get our message out to the voters and to actually have people who communicate with people in the precincts and get to know them and make sure that they understand what our program is and our message is for the future of this country. In the end, it comes down to delivering the message. And the message is very simple. If you're going to elect a person like Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, you're going to continue to move the country radically to the left. And if you do that, then you're going to destroy free enterprise. You're going to destroy the ability to create jobs and opportunities for people. Young people are not going to have the growth opportunities. People who work in manufacturing jobs are not going to get manufacturing jobs. The policies and programs of the Democrat left have been what have been destroying the economy of this country. And if we continue down that path, people are going to be hurting. So the goal here is to get people out in the community and to rally people to the polls and carry Virginia. Virginia is essential to this election, and you can't continue to move the country in the wrong direction the way that Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders would.
So, Governor, tell us what's going to be different. I went to the, I guess it was the Chesapeake meeting, Republican meeting the other day, and we had about like a 10-minute presentation from the RPV group heading up 2016 Team Virginia. But it wasn't really clear to me what is going to be different from the process they had in 2012, which really failed because we got these reports every week about how many bajillions of phone calls they made and people they touched, and it just didn't materialize into anything. Republicans getting defeated, as I said, in Virginia, both on Senate and for the Republican side. Why is this effort going to be different than the failed effort in 2012?
Well, in 2012, the Democrats framed the race as rich versus poor, and Barack Obama was running for re-election. Mitt Romney was the perfect candidate to characterize as a rich candidate, and therefore separated the Republican Party away from the voters. So you can have a Team Virginia program all day that talks to voters, but you have to have a message that really explains why you should be the candidate that wins. I believe we'll have a better message this year. I believe that Team Virginia will have more field people in the field that will actually touch voters, and I think that we'll make the case better than we made in 2012. I certainly hope to be able to do that. Now, you know what? We don't know who the candidate is going to be yet. So the Republican Party still has a lot to do to put a ticket together that can actually make an appeal to the people of Virginia. It isn't automatic, John. You know that just better than I do. But I believe that we will be able to offer a good contrast to what the Democrats are going to offer. And I might say this, I didn't say it on Squawk Box today, there are an awful lot of people out there in your listening area who tend to vote Democratic, particularly working people that believe that the Democrats speak better for them than the Republicans do.
Yes.
Our message has got to be that the Republican Party is the one that's offering real economic growth, jobs, and opportunities for people and for young people's careers. Can you imagine young people today rallying to a socialist like Bernie Sanders? He offers nothing for the future of young people in this country except more misery and less opportunity. We have to make that case to the young people of Virginia.
Well, I think you have to make that, and if you do, you're going to be successful with it. Now, I just have to ask this question, Governor Gilmore. We've got at least one notable Republican in Virginia. I've been unequivocally critical of this move, but 2nd District Congressman Scott Ridgell, who's retiring at the end of his term that ends in January, has said that under no circumstances would he back Donald Trump for president if he's a Republican nominee, that he would go to a third-party candidate. Is that a view that other people share? And if Trump is the nominee, how is Jim Gilmore going to bring the party in Virginia together?
Well, look, John, I've been a lifelong Republican. When I was the governor of Virginia, I made it my job to bring the first Republican majorities into the House and the Senate and General Assembly in Virginia, and I did it. Mm-hmm. We made the case that we were a better party for the future of Virginia. We were going to cut taxes, and we did. But, not all Republicans are good Republicans, and I understand that. So I think Scott Ridgell's been a good congressman for the people of the 2nd District. But for me, it's not acceptable to talk about a third-party supported candidate, nor do I think there'll be one. Bloomberg has flirted with it for a while. He's out. I believe we're going to nominate a candidate, and we're going to get what we get. Now, we can have a long discussion about how we ended up where we are today with two socialists running on the Democratic side and a very confused, disrupted Republican side. But at least, as you and I have talked before, when we were talking in New Hampshire, as a matter of fact, at least our Republican candidates are voicing the frustrations and resentments that the American people are demonstrating right now. And I think that gives us a chance, if we offer a constructive program, to win the election, because the big deal is the Democrats are not offering a vision for the future that offers any hope of improvement for people, and that point has to be made loud and clear here in Virginia if we're going to win. And, of course, I'm also going to campaign, John, across the country, too, with all the contacts I made on our behalf across the United States when I was in the race for the presidency.
Now, with your foreign policy experience, and I always thought that you were one of the best candidates. I think it started with 17. I thought you had the most significant foreign policy credentials of anybody, and I think you added something to the debate. And I've told you this, Governor, many times. I thought that the country, not just Republicans or viewers, I thought the country got cheated by not having you in all of these debates. I thought you won the first debate in Cleveland. I don't even think it was close. The second debate you got in, I can't remember where it was. I didn't attend that one. I saw you on TV. You won that hands down. You only got in two of the undercard debates. As you go across the country, what is the foreign policy message that you're going to be sharing with people on behalf of Republicans?
Well, that will largely be up to the candidate for president of the United States when we finally choose him. He wants to lay out his foreign policy program. But Jim Gilmore's foreign policy program is one where we build up the strength of the United States military. we particularly have got to add ships. We have to get into a shipbuilding program for the United States Navy. It's not enough just to have the best ships. You also have to have presence across the world. And with the challenges we're seeing from China in the Pacific, we have to have the United States Navy ready and equipped and demonstrate to the rest of the world that we're prepared to act the way that our excellent Navy is. We're the best Navy in the world, and we're going to keep it that way, and I think we're going to have more ships to do it. The Marines have to be built up. The Army has to be built up. And, of course, I was chairman of the National Commission on Homeland Security and Terrorism for the United States of America at the request of the Congress, and I know what this terrorism war is really all about. It not only means special forces, but we also have to state as loud and clear as we can that radical Islam, as practiced in some of these Middle Eastern areas, is medieval, wrong, backward, primitive, and must be stopped and must be destroyed. And that is what I believe our foreign policy will be. I certainly hope to be able to carry the message not just in Virginia but across the country as we go forward.
Well, I think what you just said there, I can see you as the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security in a Trump administration, no doubt. Although I think you should be the vice presidential pick for whoever the nominee is, because they have to win Virginia. You've got a history of winning Virginia. And so if you look at somebody like Mr. Trump, you've got executive experience. You ran a state. You carried Virginia. You've also got the foreign policy credentials. You were governor during when the towers went down. You're a tireless campaigner. I could see a Trump Jim Gilmore ticket. I could just as you're talking now, I think I might put that out there. I could see that happening. Trump Jim Gilmore. You heard it here first. I just came up with it. I love it. What do you think?
You know, this is why I come on this show, because you're such a smart guy.
I can see it happening. Look, he's got to win the state. Think about it. He's got to win the state. You've got the executive experience, foreign policy experience, homeland security experience. You're also someone that is very popular with the mainstream, so you're acceptable. Your conservative credentials are not questioned. So think about that. Think about that ticket. What a balance.
Well, yeah, look, it's a nice thing to say, but look, I don't expect anything from anybody. I didn't get into the presidential race in order to get something, either for myself, as some sort of, cabinet position. I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to be the president of the United States. And now my job, it seems to me, is to use the background and experience I've got to help carry Virginia and to help to carry the country for the ticket. Not because I don't think I should be the candidate. Right. It's different. It's that the left is offering very radical alternatives through Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Unacceptable, wrong direction for the country, will continue to add to the misery of the people of this country. I think they got a lot of gall to be trying to speak in on behalf of the middle class when they're the ones with the policies that are destroying the middle class.
Unbelievable.
And it's something that we've got to do as Republicans and stand up for ourselves. And my intention as head of Team Virginia at the appointment of the chairman, John Whitbeck, and the RNC, is to pull together as many of particularly the conservative elements in our state and our country. The Tea Party people are fine, and I'm speaking on behalf of Tea Party, in front of Tea Party people all across Virginia right now. I'm accepted by the mainstream committees, of course, across Virginia as the former governor of the state and the person who cut taxes in Virginia. Cut the car tax. Everybody in your listening area remembers that.
Right.
And, these are the things that I think I can bring people together behind our ticket. But, we got a long way to go, John. We got to select a ticket.
Right.
And we got to have some decent message, but I believe we will.
Well, it's going to be an interesting ride, no doubt. And we're going to have a lot clearer picture, Governor, on Wednesday when I get on the air at 6 a.m. Because if Trump wins Florida and Ohio, that puts him on a very clear path to get 1237 before they get to Cleveland. If he wins Florida and loses Ohio, then it's still open. It's still he just might not get there at the end of the day. We'll have to see how it plays out. So a lot of this is going to be answered in the next 48 hours. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I've got no crystal ball, John,
right.
Anybody else, but I expect Trump to win Florida. I campaigned a lot down there. I think I've got a feel for what's going on in Florida. I expect Trump to carry Florida. I don't think he'll carry Ohio. I think Governor Kasich will carry his own state.
Me
I
too.
would think he would.
Yep.
So then we'll go on from there. At the end of the day, it's still about we having the responsibility to offer a good candidate and a good message. But, running against Clinton and Bernie Sanders, it ain't that tough.
Now, how do you offset Governor McAuliffe's machine for Clinton? I expect her to be the nominee. It doesn't matter how many states Sanders wins. The thing is rigged because of the superdelegates. So Sanders is not going to be the nominee. Clinton's going to be the nominee. McAuliffe is going to put his whole machine behind her. I've got 1 minute. How do you elect a Republican statewide, and how do you overcome the massive plurality they're going to get in Northern Virginia?
Yeah, I think it's a very serious question. The governor usually does control the politics of his state the way that I did when I was governor. And but on the other hand, Governor McAuliffe just vetoed coal legislation for the Southwest. Why would anybody out there vote Democrat in that case? In Northern Virginia, I've lived in Northern Virginia now for 14 years, and I carried Northern Virginia when I ran for governor because the people of Northern Virginia are smart people. They will respond to a good message. And that means that we have to talk about national security. And by the way, that would be important for Hampton Roads, which is your primary listing area. We need to talk about a strong national security. We need to talk about jobs and opportunity and growth for this country and real forward motion for this country, and to once again speak out for the free enterprise system and for better chances and for careers and opportunities and manufacturing jobs and, real free enterprise here in this country, which the Democrats will never support. So I think we have a good opportunity for a message. We ought to be able to carry Virginia, and I'm very hopeful that the Team Virginia concept will work out and that I can make a contribution to it. All
right, we're out of time. We want to thank former Virginia Governor Jim Gilmore for being with us, part of what I think is going to be a Trump-Jim Gilmore ticket. Oh, I love it. Thanks for being with us, Governor. This is the John Fredericks Radio Network.